Well, good morning, dear students. Muneshir, Harshit, Arya Singh, Vagasri, Suhani, Vinit Vitonde, Sravani, Ashutosh, Tanvi, Dhanasri, uh, Sadvika, Aditya. Okay, okay. So, dear students, today we are going to revise. Instead of starting a new lesson, it's better let us revise what we have already studied. Okay, because what happens, dear students, like uh, due to lack of proper revision, sometimes our performance goes down, right? So it's very important that we revise. Elementary school classroom we shall revise today, right? We shall revise today. Those of you who missed out my class can also get benefit out of this, and those who have uh, already attended my previous lecture on this poem can also revise with me today. Okay, so dear students, let's begin this lesson like revision. Elementary school classroom, always try to understand this poem talks about the purpose of education. What is the purpose of education to Islam children? Why do we require why do we require the slum children to be educated? Okay, that is the main thing actually. Okay, because education, as you know, is the remedy for all kinds of social evils, all kinds of social deprivation, all kinds of economic deprivation, all kinds of means socio-economic deprivation. Understood? It means if somebody is educated, if someone is properly educated, he has employability skills. In that case, it is very easy to improve the economic condition of a particular person vis-a-vis the society. Therefore, it's very important to give access of education to the children belonging to the slum areas. Okay, so that they are able to they are able to become independent, okay, in course of time, or at least basic education is very important to be imparted to every student. Okay, at least primary education, secondary education, okay, basic education. With basic education also, students, I mean people can also earn money. Okay, but without education it's very difficult to get employment elsewhere, right? So the poem describes the purpose of education to the slum student. Then this poem also contains Spender's views about slum schools and the purpose behind establishing such schools. This poem also contains Spender's views about slum schools and the purpose behind establishing such schools. Okay, what about the existence of the slum schools? Okay, to what extent are they good? That is what our poet has given us information about. And then the purpose behind establishing. What is the purpose behind establishing such schools? The poet thinks that lives of slum children will remain miserable unless they are educated and shifted elsewhere. Okay, so the poet thinks that lives of slum children will remain miserable unless they are educated and shifted elsewhere. Okay, so that is his concept on educating slum children. Their life will certainly improve if they are given access to education. But if they are not given access to education, then their life will continue to remain miserable. So that is why he has sensitized the people, the authority. He has sensitized the government authority as well as the people regarding the necessity of imparting education to the slum children in this poem. Understood? The poem is a fine combination of hope and despair for the humanity, unlike the dark vision of T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. Right? The poem is a fine combination of hope and despair. Hope and despair for the humanity, unlike the dark vision of T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. Like T.S. Eliot was also one of the very famous poets of America, and his Wasteland is a collection of poems which is also very famous. So in that, this is also this poem, the Wasteland, is also about the after effect of the Second World War, right? So the poet in that poem, The Wasteland, he has given the darker aspect, only the darker aspect of life. He has not shown any kind of ray of hope. But in this poem, the poet has shown a ray of hope towards the end of the poem. He has shown some ray of hope for the children of slum, because education is the and this is the education. Okay, he says that only when the slum children will have the access to proper education, the basic needs of life, basic education, they will certainly their condition will improve, right? So the poem draws out a real picture of slum children in a school after the post-World War period, right? After the World War, okay, after the World War, what happened in the world? Okay, so after the especially Second World War here, what happens to the world? So the poem, this poem is a pan picture, you can say, pan picture of the situation that was prevailing, okay, in the society after the Second World War. So, okay, so I hope you understood the background information of the poem. This poem is written after the World War, Second World War, and the poet wants to highlight the deplorable condition of the slum children, and he has also given some ray of hope to us that if the government authorities, inspector, or NGOs like visitors comes to the school and they think of uplifting the status of the children by improving the infrastructure of the school, by improving the overall basic necessities of the children, then certainly there is a ray of hope, right? So dear students, we shall go through the first two three stanza today, uh, and then we shall wind up. Hopefully you shall be able to recollect, and you shall also revise it so that in your examination you are able to answer correctly. Okay, you see here. Okay, it's coming here, so I need to go somewhere here, I think. I need to go somewhere here, I think. Yeah. Let me go somewhere there. Okay. Okay, so okay, you see dear students, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Far, far from gusty waves. Gusty waves means here strong waves, right? Gusty waves means strong waves. Understood? So far away from strong waves, these children's faces like rootless weeds. Here you can see, dear students, the children's the children are here compared to the rootless weeds. Like weeds are of no use to us, right? Weeds are of no use to us. Weeds are useless for us. So likewise, the slum children have been considered or compared with rootless weeds, right? Because of some reasons we'll find out here. And then he started by saying that gusty waves means strong waves. Slum children are away from beautiful sides of nature, right? So wave is a part of nature here, sea, you can say. Gusty waves means here is an imagery for sea. So the poet says that the children are not growing up in the lap of nature. If a child does not grow up in the company of nature, Okay, then according to the poet, there is no proper development of a child. Physical, emotional, intellectual, all kinds of development takes place if you are in the lap of nature, if you grow up in the lap of nature, especially the physical and emotional growth. So these children are away from gusty waves, means these children are growing up away from nature, right? These children's faces like rootless weeds. Why are the children's faces compared to here the rootless weeds? Because the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means face, pale face. Their hair is dangling onto their face, right? Hair as if torn apart. Okay, hair is not combed properly, it is untidy and it is dangling on their face, right? On their pale face. And one example is given here, the tall girl with her weighed down head. Weighed down head is a metaphor for malnutrition. Weighed down means very big sized head, very big sized head. So the tall girl with her weighed down head means there is a tall girl in the class of the slum children who is a victim of, you can say, fat head. He's a victim of fat head. Fat head represents something which is malnutritious, right? So fat head is a metaphor or imagery, you can say, for a girl suffering from malnutrition, right? The paper swimming boy with rat's eyes. Okay, so you can see here the paper swimming boy means as thin as paper, right? There is another boy in the class who is as thin as paper with rat's eyes. Rat's eyes also represents malnutrition. Rat's eyes means like he is a hollow eye, pair of eyes. Okay, protruding eyes are protruding, eh, you know like those of rat's eyes, because like the eyes of rats are hollow in nature, same way due to malnutrition the eyes of those slum children, I mean that slum children, child, that paper swimming boy, is having hollow eyes actually. Okay, the eyes of the paper swimming boy are uh, as hollow as those of the rat. So the paper swimming boy, there is another boy who is as thin as paper, having rat's eyes. Okay. So in the first stanza, what we come to know, in the first stanza, the poet has introduced us with the slum children, saying that there are two children. One is a tall girl who is having fat head, therefore representing malnutrition, and another paper swimming boy, that is a very thin boy, who is also a victim of malnutrition, which is indicated by his hollow eyes, right? So in the very introductory stanza, in the very introductory uh, part of the poem, the poet has introduced us to the malnutritious children, slum children. Okay, the slum children who are the victims of nutrition, okay, malnutrition, and they are living away from the lap of nature, which is indicated by gusty waves. Okay, and their children, their face are like ruthless weeds. The hair that is there on their head is untidy, and they are dangling. The hair is dangling round the pale face. Okay, or dangling on the pale face. So let's go through the paraphrase. The poet here describes the miserable condition of the children sitting in a classroom in a slum school. From gusty waves means children are away from the beautiful sights of nature, which is indicated by their appearance. Their hair, which looks untidy and fall on their pale face is compared to rootless weeds here. Okay, their hair is compared to rootless weeds. As weeds are unwanted in garden, similarly the hair on their head appear to be unproductive as well. Understood? So that is the uh, reason as to why he has compared the hair of the slum children with the rootless weeds, right? So next you see a tall girl in the classroom with her heavy head looks sad. Her heavy head represents her abnormal growth due to malnutrition. One boy sitting in the class is as thin as paper. He has hollow eyes like those of a rat. He too is the victim of undernourishment due to glaring poverty. Due to glaring poverty. Okay. So, uh, glaring poverty, do you understand the meaning of glaring poverty? Dear students, glaring poverty means absolute poverty. Okay, glaring poverty means absolute poverty. Because of poverty, they are not able to eat properly, they are not able to eat nutritious food, right? So, that is why they are they have become the victim of malnutrition actually. Okay, so here in the very first stanza we have been introduced to the slum children uh, with the help of two children. Okay, one girl with weighed down head and another boy as thin as paper and whose eyes are as hollow as those of a rat, right? And then we get some general information about slum children also in the very first and second lines. What happens? Number one, they are growing up away from the company of nature. So when a child grows up away from the company of nature, it is very much visible on their face. That is why they are having pale face. They are not happy. They are not having cheerful face because not only is the fact that they are not eating properly, but also for the fact that they are not living in a natural condition. That is also responsible. See, it like people, some people do gardening, some people have huge gardens. Okay, so why do people do gardening, why do people have gardens, why do people go 4 5 hours, go for 4 5 hours ride uh, in the countryside, in the lap of nature? Why? Because nature has some therapeutic use for human beings actually. Nature has some healing touch on human beings. Understood? So, if you are in the company of nature, there is a psychological change, like there is a change in your mind. Okay, so you feel fresh, and that is reflected on your face also. So that the children are having pale face. Why? Because they are living away from nature, away from nature in the nourishment of nature. They are away from the nourishment of nature. That is exactly the reason as to why they appear to be pale. They appear to be pale. So the poet here suggests to us that there is a need for all of us to live in the company of nature. That is an indirect hint given by the poet, right? And it is very important suggestion also. Okay, very important suggestion also, and that is one of the main reasons why they appear to be pale. And second reason is their malnutrition because of glaring poverty. Now let's move on to the second stanza. So see the second stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's had, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, writing all cities, barreled, flowery, tidal is valley. On sour cream walls. Sour cream walls means dirty cream colored walls. Dirty cream colored walls. It's called sour walls. Okay. Okay, on sour cream walls, donations Shakespeare's had, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belled, flowery, Tyrolese valley. So what does it? What does this expression mean? So the second stanza deals with the classroom situation, the classroom walls. The classroom walls are all decorated with donations. Donations from might be NGOs or philanthropists, those who donate for the cause of humanity. So the rooms of the classroom, um, walls of the classroom are all decorated by donations. Like Shakespeare's had the bust of Shakespeare. It's called bust, B-U-S-T, dear students. Bust of Shakespeare. Okay. The head of Shakespeare is also there. Then cloudless at dawn means these are civilization actually. The picture of the great civilization is also there on pasted on the walls of the classroom. Okay. Then buried flowery Tyrolese valley. The pictures of all good civilization, good cities are hung on the walls of the classroom. The poet is saying that these donations, these beautiful pictures, these then Shakespeare's had, they are all irrelevant to the need of the slum children. Why? Because the slum children has no familiarity with the life outside their slum area. So, if the slum children does not have any access to the beautiful cities, beautiful civilization, then how will they come to know about those civilizations? How will they understand, these civilizations? Moreover, they are not able to go there for the rest of their life. Therefore, the poet says that the pictures of civilization, pictures of cities, then Shakespeare's bust. These are all irrelevant resources kept in the classroom because they will be of no use to the children, right? Because the children can never have access to these beautiful places for the rest of their life. That is why these these donations in the classroom, which are hung onto the or pasted on the walls of the classroom, are all irrelevant to the need of the slum children. Okay, so you see, it is given here. You can learn from here. Civilized dome means high-rise domes of modern civilization. Tyrolese Valley means pertaining to the Tyrol, an Austrian Alpine province. It is Austrian Alpine province. The walls of the classroom are pale and dirty. On these walls, a host of donated teaching aids have been put up. These objects on the wall represent the world of the rich and prosperous. One of them is the picture of William Shakespeare. The other picture shows early morning sky without any tinge of cloud in it. The picture of high-rise domes of modern civilization represent the quality of life in those cities. There is also a picture of the beautiful Tyrolese Valley, a region in the Austrian Alpine province adorned with flowers. Unfortunately, these colorful pictures on the walls have no relevance in the lives of these poor children. The world depicted on these walls is not the world of the children. Their world does not contain huge domes or advanced civilization or the scenic beauty as presented in the picture on the wall of the classroom. Right? So, dear students, this stanza teaches us the irrelevance of some, you can say, classroom materials. Okay, um, the classroom teaching aids or classroom materials must be relevant to the needs of the children. Otherwise, those teaching materials, those classroom resources become a complete waste. Become a complete waste. Okay, supposing that, dear students, you do not know anything about, for example, machine learning, and I keep on describing about machine learning to you. In that case, what will happen? Everything will be Greek to you. Everything will go beyond your comprehension. You shall not be able to understand anything of what I am speaking. So exactly the same is happening with the slum children. Okay, there are a lot of beautiful pictures on the classroom, the walls of the classroom, the Tyrolese Valley, the Shakespeare's had, all these beautiful places, beautiful cities, civilization, and the image of William Shakespeare. But these things are relevant because neither the children will be able to, neither the children will be able to read the books of Shakespeare any day, nor the children will be able to visit such beautiful civilization or beautiful cities any day. Therefore, the poet says that these are absolute waste for the children. These are absolutely irrelevant. Okay. Now, stanza 2, part 2, you see, this is also important. Uh, Open-handed map. See, open-handed map. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not the map, their world, where all their future is painted with a fog. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world. It means that there is a world map kept in the classroom, okay, where the names of beautiful places, the names of geographical places are mentioned. Awarding the world its world means the way different places are, listed on the map. It is there in the world map, understood. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their future is painted with the fog. For these children, yet for these children, these windows, not this map. Understood? The poet says that not the world map which is hung in the classroom, not the world map, but but what is relevant? The world outside the window is their real map, not the map which is hanging in the wall of the classroom. No, because this world map is very irrelevant because they cannot come out of the slum. Therefore, this world map which is hanging in the classroom is irrelevant to the slum children. What is relevant is the what is their map? What is the real map of the slum children? The real map of the slum children is the world which is visible through the window, because this is where they spend most of their time. This is where they will remain forever. That is why not this world map, but the world outside the classroom is their real map, is their real world, where their future is painted with a fog. Their future is uncertain as the blurred, fog, as uncertain as the blurred picture. Okay, you understood now? So, the world map depicting beautiful countries of the world. The world map in the classroom is not the world of slum children. World outside windows is their actual world. The future of slum children is hazy like fog. The future of slum children is hazy like fog. Understood? Like the fog is hazy, likewise, the future of the slum children is also hazy. So now let's go to the paraphrase of these three lines. The world map hung on the classroom displays the names and locations of various countries of the world. Awarding the world its world is very important sentence for the exam, dear students. So please do remember from here the world map depicting various countries of the world. Awarding the world its world means the world map is depicting the various countries of the world, because the names of various countries are mentioned in the world map, right? So this is how the world map is depicting various countries of the world. But these countries are outside the reach of the slum children, and hence the world map has no importance for the children. So this question might also come: why is the world map irrelevant to the needs of the children? So you have to write in this manner: these countries are outside the reach of the slum children, and hence the world map has no importance for the children. The life existing outside the window of the classroom is their actual world and not this map in the classroom. Okay, so that is what I already spoke about. Unfortunately, their world is painted with fog, the fog of hopelessness. See, fog is metaphorically used. As the fog is very much uncertain, as the fog is very much fog is something which is uh, which is you know hazy. Likewise, the future of the children is also hazy. Okay, fog of hopelessness and hunger. Their future is grim and uncertain. So, dear students, whenever you write the answer, please take some of the words, phrases from this explanation so that your answer becomes standard. Okay. So, dear students, we have finished up to stanza one. Okay, stanza two we have finished up to, it seems. Stanza two part two we have finished. Okay, next part I'll teach you next class. Okay, so dear students, please do text me P so that I am able to understand that you have been with me all throughout. Some of you might have joined late also, I don't know, but please do text me P so that I can mark your attendance later on. And that's it for the day, dear students. It's time to wind up our lesson. Harshit, Mansi, Arya, Utkarsh, Mayur, Prakhar, Pravash, Uday, Sajal, Satvika, Griya, Sneha, Arya Divedi, Sajal, Alma, Kalyani, Mansi, Satvika, Siman, Nidhi, Aditya, Sneha, Bhuvneshwar, Suhani, Arya Singh, Uday. Thank you so much, dear students. So we are revising this so that like we recall whatever we learned. Okay. Um, we have to go a bit slow, dear students, otherwise our course will be over in 1 or 2 months time. Okay, so that is why we have to be a bit slow with our lessons, and I shall revise some of the lessons, and like 3 days I will revise, 3 days I will continue with the next lesson, right? So anyway, dear students, thank you so much. We shall meet tomorrow again. Bye bye, take care.